Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member, and I want to thank all the folks who are here today on the panel. I appreciate it very much. I'm going to start with you, Ms. Bowman. The 2018 Farm Bill decriminalized hemp and took it from the controlled substances list. It is now as legal as soybeans or wheat to be able to grow on the farms. Producers in Montana are hitting the fields. Some has been planted. It's kind of wet. Some is yet to be planted. The problem is they still face barriers to access the financial system. And not only the farms themselves who grow the hemp, but also input suppliers are facing barriers if they supply inputs for the growing of hemp, as well as equipment dealers. I understand the FinCEN will have to update their guidelines, and I sent a letter to Director Blanco to tell him to get moving on it. As the primary regulators of our financial institutions, can you give me an update on what you're telling banks and credit unions today that will help them be able to do business in the hemp sector? Mike, yes.
I'm sorry, Senator, this is an important issue that when I meet with bankers from across the country, many states have engaged heavily in this crop for growth. And when we visit with them and speak with them about the treatment by the prudential regulators, the Federal Reserve in particular, we refer them to BSA, AML guidance to ensure that they're understanding the risks of the customers that they face, and that those decisions about who they are working with or who they choose to serve as customers are appropriately vetted according to their business.
So are you telling them they can bank them, or are you
risk.
telling them that go ahead, but you might end up upside down?
No, we absolutely tell them that it's not our job or our role to tell them who their customers should be, and that they should understand what their business strategies and risks are with respect to any customer that they have. We do recognize that this is a challenging regulatory environment based on the relationship with.
When the Montana bankers were in a month and a half ago, they said that they couldn't bank them because the regulators told them they couldn't bank them. Have you told them they could bank?
We have not told them that they cannot bank them. We've told them that there are regulations in place.
Let's be proactive about it, because we decriminalized it in the Farm Bill. And it's the same pot. This is hemp. Why not just tell them they can do it? Because quite frankly, I would just tell you, prices are in a tank. These tariffs are killing production agriculture. I'm not saying hemp's going to bail anybody out, because it's not, but it gives them another option. But they're not going to do it. I wouldn't do it if the bank, if you can't get the dough, you're not going to do it. And in this economic time for production ag, they need the banks. So
I would agree with you, and we would not discourage banks from banking these types of customers.
okay, well, maybe we're saying the same thing, but I'm not sure bankers are hearing the same thing. Okay.
We'll try to clarify that. It is not, and hemp is not an illegal crop.
Right. That's what I wanted to hear. Thank you very, very much. Mr. Fetto, good to have you here. Under the current structure of CFIUS, you have been able to review, or the body has been able to review several large agribusiness transactions in recent years, including a biggie when Bayer acquired Monsanto. And I would just tell you unequivocally, this company plays a huge role in production agriculture across this country. I believe that food security is equivalent to national security. I don't think there's any debate about that. So do you believe CFIUS currently does enough to protect our food systems here in the U.S.?
Senator Tester, I do. With respect to any transaction that implicates national security, we bring in the appropriate member agencies to assist us in that analysis.
Okay. So do you agree that food security and national security go hand in hand?
It can. It depends on the facts and circumstances, yes.
So if you got people starving to death, do you think that's good for national security? If you got people starving to death, do you think that's good for national security?
Sir, we take a look at who the investor is.
Yeah. That's not the question. If you don't have adequate food supply, it is my contention that you have turned your national security on its ear. That's why these mergers are so critically important. And let me give you a statistic. Currently, with the merger, Bayer, Monsanto, whatever you want to call them, controls 25% of the seed supply, which if you control the seed, you control the food, and 23% of the chemicals. The question is does CFIUS think about this stuff? And then I'll kick it back. But does CFIUS think about this stuff? Because it's real. And if for a second that I thought we were offshoring our food security to a foreign country, that's what it appears to me. Now, in retrospect, they may have offshored a lot of liability. But the truth is, when it happened, we didn't know that.
We do think about that. It's part of our risk-based analysis. We look at the threat from the actor, from the investor, that is the intent and capacity to exploit a weakness in our national security, as well as the vulnerability of the U.S. business. And so we look at both of those factors to determine the risk to national security.
Well, I would just say I think 25% is a lot. I mean, we're talking the whole shebang here. And so I would just ask for you to specifically ask some tough questions of the folks on it. Okay? Thank you very, very much.
I will.